Welcome everyone to Diversifying Funding and Strengthening Your Research Portfolio. My name is Gina Stouffer. I am the Assistant Director of Research Development at the Medical School Office of Research in the Grant Services and Analysis Office. Thank you for joining us today for this virtual seminar. Presented by Grant Services and Analysis, and then in partnership with the Taubman Health Sciences Library, the Michigan Medicine Corporate and Foundation Relations Office, and Fast Forward Medical Information. So I am going to be, as I said, talking about strategies and resources for securing funding. The first thing, I have too many screens here. Okay. So the first strategy for securing funding is to identify and pursue varied funding sources. And I hope that you feel that we have already checked that box today with our seminar. So you have covered the first strategy for securing funding and diversifying your portfolio. The next strategy on the list is leaning on your networks and resources. And the first thing that you can do in this space is build strong collaborations. That is going to be key for securing funding. How can you build collaborations to enhance your research, to go after these different funding opportunities, to repackage your research appropriately for funding opportunities, or to capitalize on these RFAs and NOFOs at the different funding agencies outside of the federal space. So one tool that you can use to find collaborators, which I am on my soapbox all the time about, is experts. So we do have a fantastic database here in Michigan Experts, expert.umich.edu, where you can search expertise not just here at the medical school, but across U of M. And the research profiles include publications, areas of expertise, grants, and collaboration networks. And it's also a great way to find mentors or find collaborators or different expertise that you need to fill different gaps in your research. I always use Dr. Steve Kunkel as an example, Executive Vice Dean of Research, all-around nice guy who has been at the medical school a long time and has this very beautiful, colorful, wide collaboration network. But when you go to Dr. Kunkel's profile, you can see his bio. When you go underneath scholarly activities, you can get a sense of where he publishes his work, where his scholarly outputs are. So if someday you want to be Steve Kunkel, his is the path that you would like to follow in your research. That's another thing that you can use it for, not just finding collaborators, but finding people in your field, in your area, and seeing where they've published, where they've been successful. And also you can go under this grants portion right here and see where they've been funded. So this doesn't just show federal funding, it also shows industry funding, foundation funding, and you can get a sense of who and what funds Dr. Kunkel's work. Okay, so that is a good strategy, not just for finding collaborators and filling gaps in expertise, but also being strategic about finding people in your area and where they publish and who funds them. So also finding collaborators subtopic, it's very important, as has been stated here a lot, to network. So relationship building is going to be very important for diversifying your funding portfolio. So other than attending seminars like you have today, we also encourage you to attend a conference that's new to you, attend a industry or corporate conference or event, serve on panels where possible, like Katie mentioned, and also continue to attend U of M events to learn about things and that offer networking opportunities. Next, under Lean Your Networks and Resources, we suggest finding out where your colleagues and collaborators get research support to find out if there are funding streams and opportunities you might be overlooking. Like Mike was mentioning earlier, we have a lot of mentors and people in the industry space who you can talk to and find out what opportunities you may be overlooking. In addition to your colleagues, we are also happy to, if you don't know anyone who all of your colleagues only have federal funding, that's the only thing that you know, please reach out to us and we can, Mike, Katie, Heather, myself, we can connect you with other colleagues here at the university who would be happy to talk to you about these other forms of research support. As Heather mentioned, you want to get to know your research administrator. They really know who is supporting and who and what is funding people in your research space, in your department, and your colleagues. If you go to our research project route map on the Office of Research website, this handy dandy navigation tool, you will see that the place to start is have you connected with your department research administrator. So if you haven't gotten to know your RA yet, please do get to know them. And this start guide here gives the contact information for all of the department research administrators if you have not yet connected with that important person in your life. So another strategy for securing funding is leveraging smaller grants and awards, including pilot grants and internal funding. As we are diversifying our portfolio and used to going straight after these R01 level $500,000 per year over 5 years, this is what we're going for. You may need to shift your thinking towards how am I going to get to the bigger grants? And that generally is going to be pilot funding or internal funding or smaller grants or smaller funding mechanisms that can build your portfolio and lend itself to going after bigger financial gains. So I wanted to mention that competition space here is the internal funding and pilot funding platform here at the medical school. And I have linked here the information for where to find that. But when you go to competition space, you can see all of the different, you can see pilot grant opportunities, you can see other opportunities, you can see Mishar's K-12 award. And also, as Heather was mentioning earlier, that's where the external limited submissions for the medical school are located as well. So if you see that something is a limited submission, if it's biomedical, it will be here on competition space, and if not, it will be at OVPR, and you will be able to find your way there. So going back to leaning on networks and resources, it's also very important to leverage institutional resources as you are trying to diversify funding. And we do have a lot of tools and resources here for you. We will continue to create those for you and get you in the best place possible to make sure that you can secure funding. I wanted to point out just a few that we have. So in as far as research development resources and support, we suggest getting feedback early on what we call chalk talks or specific aim sprints, ideas. Like if you are going to go after funding, if you are going to go after industry funding, please talk early to FFMI. If you are going after some foundation funding or a particular mechanism, we really suggest getting feedback early on an early draft of your specific aims, objectives, goals, ideas, before you develop that full application or that full package that you're going to submit. Mishar has research development consultations where you can show up with your idea and they will lead you to different potential funding. And then we also have a YouTube station, which I thought Heather was going to mention as part of the resources. But if you really want to some asynchronous learning on grant writing, we have a whole YouTube channel. We have a proposal sampler. There we have a lot of foundation funding samples for you to look at and see how they differ from federal funding. We have templates and boilerplates, as well as other resources in education. So we do have a lot of things for you to check out as you are learning about different grant writing or funding resources. Because before you apply, you need to do a lot of planning, right? So start early so that you have the time to tailor these opportunities and make sure that it's the right opportunity, that you're not just putting things out there that don't fit the opportunity. I wanted to plug our grant editing services here in the GS&A office. We have a full-time grant editor, and we have expanded our grant editing services to include not just federal mechanisms, but also foundation mechanisms, since this expansion is needed now with the new funding landscape. So please reach out for additional information on how we can help you edit your grants and get them in the right voice or tailored for the right audience that you are writing for with your new funding opportunity. Another thing I wanted to plug is we have, if you're looking for ways to increase your grant writing productivity, we host writing accountability groups. These are coordinated and facilitated by a research development specialist. Writing accountability groups, or WAGs as we call them. There's an upcoming opportunity starting in January. We hold these virtually, and our next upcoming opportunity will start Tuesdays, starting January 6th, and they will run through May 12th. There's a Q&R code here if you are interested in learning more about these opportunities, and fill out the survey by January 2nd if you would like to be part of that upcoming WOW group, or you can email us to be placed on future interest lists. So final thoughts. With proposal writing, as we've kind of mentioned a lot here today, I've heard a lot of all of the speakers saying it, so you know it must be true, but you really, really need to do your homework ahead of time. Make sure that you're aligning with the mission and priorities of the funding agency or the sponsor, and you want to write for your audience who will be reviewing your proposals, and please tailor your writing or the presentation accordingly. We've mentioned here we have people in the various units who can help you with that. Also, make sure that your project is feasible and don't be too ambitious. This is my favorite cartoon for grant proposal writing, which is I'm a fiction writer in the grant proposal genre. I have read some proposals that have made me think of this cartoon. So make sure that you are proposing enough to respond to the funding announcement, but not going outside of scope. And then, yeah, look at previously funded examples in the sampler for an idea of scope that is required for these different mechanisms. Also, you want to communicate your research impact. So make sure and keep your expert's profile updated, your website updated. Like Mike was saying, it's really important to have your presence out there, your research presence out there. Update your LinkedIn, be active on that, and also keep your department chair and division head updated about what cool things you're doing. We heard a presentation earlier in this space where one of the philanthropists went to the department chair here and said, who should I fund? Who do you think I should fund? Well, if your department chair or division head doesn't know what you're doing, then you're not going to be one of the people who gets put forward as an idea for a philanthropist to fund. So make sure that you are on the radar of the public and society at large, so everyone knows what you're doing and so funders can find you, but also internally here with your department chair and division head. And be open to communicating your science to lay audience and the public. It's always been important. It's always been something that you should be doing, but it's very, very important now. And with that, I have finished